What's going on? Alright, so today I get to finally bring you guys the one-shot wonder build. So what this build is a full-on melee build. It can one-shot pretty much everything with no setup. What you guys have been seeing though circulated throughout Discords and Discord chats are the crazy damage numbers and hitting damage cap with this build. So I'm going to give you guys some clips. I'm going to run through it and kind of explain it real quick though, but you'll see the actual mechanics be ran through. And I'll be able to explain how I'm doing it and what I think is causing it to escalate the damage all the way up so high. So what we have here is we have the liquid cooling. We're going to use this to get our first 25 stacks of the 1,000 cuts. And then we're going to hit it with the Twisted Delusion. And the reason we're going to hit the Twisted Delusion and get the soaked effect before we do this is because what we're trying to do is we're trying to nerf our damage for fire, so we don't just melt it with the encapsulator. But what we're going to do after the soak is the encapsulator is going to be put on sticky mode, and we're going to load up Parasite with all the bullets we can. Now after that, you're gonna buff Meister actually before loading it up with the encapsulator. So after you're done loading it up and you're already buff Meistered, you're going to switch to your live wire, which you can have 1 bullet or 0, however you want to do it. It's pretty versatile. You're going to go into From the Shadows, and all that damage, here's how we're doing it. All that damage is going to be built into Echo. And all that damage, for some reason, is going to scale to the moon and give you, if you don't see an insane damage number of, say, like 900 million that we've been showing on Discord or to, like, on stream, you're going to hit damage cap. It's going to be with Echo and some weird reaction with these stuck TNT right here. The rings we're using is melee rings, the championship. You can wear mood rings if you want, but this is just what we've been preferring. This is your class mod. We're going to be scaled off of movement speed as long as, or as with melee damage and all damage dealt. And the reason we're using corrupted plate mail, if you guys don't know, is this corrupted plate mail with the convert 30% of Fate Maker's damage dealt to dark magic damage is going to give us a live wire reaction on every hit. Whereas a warp paradigm or something else will give it on every other hit, so it just won't be as consistent. So this one might be a little less damage, but you're still hitting damage cap regardless, so this is going to be the better play. Then you got your Cursed Wit. You're going to want them to break your shields pretty easy when fighting bosses or in the Chaos Chamber runs. But you're going to be having good survivability with dark magic damage healing, so no worries there. But also at the bottom you want on your Cursed Wit is the plus 20% melee damage while ward is depleted, so you're actually gaining 120% higher scale damage on your melee and 100% on your lightning reaction off of the live wire, because Cursed Wit is just disgusting on this build. We're going to be using lightning damage boosted with berserker power, so more frost damage as well. You could go Stabomancer, but you don't need it. Your From the Shadows doesn't need to last long because you're going to one-shot everything. So don't worry about that there. And the reason we have the bottom here is we don't need the increased spell damage, but what we do like with having all that extra damage is getting our action skill cooldown increased. That's going to help you be in From the Shadows more often if that's how you want to play it. And the last thing is we have Buffmeister with 2 spell charges, and we have Bonk on it, so we get that increased melee damage and faster move speed off the Buffmeister. So let me run through and show you guys. This is going to be the setup for the increased, insane, probably hitting the damage cap here. I'll get you 25 stacks here. So, Buffmeister, you're already in sticky mode. Load them up. You're going invisible, your shields are broken, that's exactly what you want. And I will show you guys to make sure you guys know that I actually hit him with a melee. Little 3 mil right there, but as you guys can see, there's no big live wire reaction here. no big live wire reaction. So, just to show you guys proof that I actually did hit that melee, I used my stacks of follow-up. And as you guys saw, there was no live wire thing. But I used my stacks of live wire, or stacks of follow-up with the live wire. And for some reason, everything is just grossly scaling off of each other. Let me run through it one more time, and I will show you guys without all that crazy setup, just how insane this one shot is, even without all that extra setup. So we're just gonna keep that at 0. You can keep it at 1. It'll work with that too. But I'm just gonna hold this out. Okay, buff. Use this. Don't even need to soak, and it's just dead. One shot. A little small 6 mil reaction right there. No biggie, but one shots. One shot all the raid bosses, even with player scaling. I've one shot at Tina, all the other raid bosses, one shot. Use the stacks to follow up on that as well. So I just wanted to give you guys a good representation. You don't need all that. The reason we're doing all that big setup is just for the flashy numbers. It's an insane reaction that nobody else is really doing right now. And it might even be the new meta if it doesn't get nerfed. We all know how much Gearbox loves to nerf things. You know, so I just wanted to, I'm going to try to show you guys a big damage number without hitting damage caps. So I'm going to do things in a little bit of a different order and see how it goes. But it will give you guys proof that we're actually hitting just an insane. Okay, do it a little bit slower, then we're going to buff Meister. And this should give us a way, I messed it up. Sorry, we just started learning how to do this yesterday. So for some reason, I do play on controller and I just grabbed the wrong enemy. But even the dot started to melt the boss there. Just really hardcore. Off of the live wire. Because you also get the reaction off of the Wailing Banshee. So you're also going to be killing enemies with with one hit, getting multiple enemies. So it's going to work really good for that way too if you're mobbing. And I'll also run through the skill tree and what we're doing and what we're building it off of. So let me show you guys, try it one more time properly. So what I want to do is just mess it up, do a little setup, so you guys can see the insane high damage that we're getting. Do this. Shield's not even broken, 346 million. And I did the order wrong, I didn't even break the cursed wit, which would have scaled it way higher. But just to show you guys that you can do insane damage even without doing the perfect setup. 61 mil there, 10 mil, 14, another 61 there, 11, and then you got your big guy, 346. So, it's just insane. Let me kind of see if I can do it one more time, and then we'll get into the skill tree breakdown. And I will run through Undead Savior and how he was doing it. I will also post his skill tree, because he has a little bit different of a setup. And okay, we're gonna act like nobody saw that. I appreciate it. Just nobody comment on that. Thank you. But Undead Savior's how he set his skill tree up. It also works stupid well, like stupid crazy well. He's hitting a consistent 700 to 900 million damage using kind of the same mechanics, but with a different skill tree and a different class build. So the build is also like not extremely gear dependent, I would say. Buffmeister, shield's broken. 814 million without doing the setup perfect. 814 million. 29 mil dots, you know, nothing crazy there. 92 mil dot over there. I think that's an 18 or something behind there. It's just insane. Something's going on to give this insane reaction, but that's without the perfect setup, so you guys can see as it is actually hitting the damage cap if you do the mechanics behind it perfect, and playing into that echo with the Buffmeister and all the scaling. It's just gross. It's just gross. This is the melee build of all melee builds, and I don't mean to sound cocky, but I mean nothing else is doing this right now. So if you guys want to brag to your friends, you know, you can download the save file and have fun with it. But let me kind of give you a rundown. So I've already went through my gear and explained the mechanics behind it all. Um, but here's the class mod that Undead is using. Everything else will be the same for the gear. But this is the class mod he's using. So I'll have that on here if you guys want to test that out. I also have the Sword Explosion if you don't want to, you know, you can also use that and probably hit for, I think it was roughly around 150 mil to 200 for your big hit and your big live wire reaction. And then the skill tree. So you got your potent, exploit, we're scaling movement speed, so that's why I kind of get a run up. So we're using Swift Death for that. We're using our follow-up stacks. As you guys can see, I did use them, so you guys know I actually hit it on that damage cap. Shadow Step. This is really good for mobbing. You guys don't have to use it, but it's really good for mobbing because you're going to one-shot everything, and as you do, your next melee hit is guaranteed critical hit. So as you're running around, you can just start one-tapping everything and get critical hits on top of always getting that live wire reaction with the corrupted playmail. It's just a disgusting, consistent one-shot kill. Here you got your sneak attack. You're just trying to boost your critical hit damage. We got a little bit of contagion, but that's not like our main source. You know, we only have 3 points in it. Alchemel Agent is very good, and this is what we're also trying to scale off of is our 1,000 cuts. That's why we get our 25 stacks at the beginning. You got your unarmored defense. You don't have to use that, but you can. But it's really good for getting your shields broke and not just getting one-tapped, or it's just really good for survivability all the way around. We're using the old ways because our damage is going to scale by another 30% when you're close to people, and we're going to be meleeing for all of our damage. So you're always going to scale that 30%. Icebreaker, you're using frost weapons primarily, so you're going to get that up to extra 60%. Cold Snap, that's just what comes on the class mod. We don't actually have points into it. And Ancestral Frost. So that's my skill tree breakdown. Like I said, I'm going to include Undead Savior's skill trees and what he used. And his class mod. But I just wanted to give a big shout out to Undead Savior for showing how versatile the build is and helping me get these big damage numbers in testing. Also to stay on target for his really good ideas, and it turned into a big group effort. And without these guys, this build wouldn't have been what it is now. So I really appreciate both of them. But yeah, so this is Undead Savior's class mod right here, the Miasmic. And I will also put a picture in the save file communities under Moxie's chat, showing his skill tree and how he was hitting consistent 700 to 900 million damage. It's just really gross. This setup though will hit the damage cap, and it will do it consistently. So if you guys want to download it, have fun with it, or maybe toss me some ideas on what you think could be changed, I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and let me know what you think. Thank you.